The Minnesota Timberwolves currently are the worst team in the NBA with a 10-31 record, 15th in the NBA Western Conference. They're a bad team. You can't say anything else about it. So I'm going to be the new Minnesota Timberwolves GM. PLB is the new Timberwolves GM, and we're going to fix the Timberwolves to put them in championship contention, in my opinion. So yeah, Ryan Saunders was 7-24 in his coaching career in 2020, 2021. And Chris Finch so far has been 3-7. So yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily the coach here, even though I would be looking towards the new coach here in Minnesota, or in Minnesota. I'm not really so big on the coach because I'm pretty sure Chris Finch did come over from the Raptors. So Chris Finch will stay for right now. Yeah. So let's go ahead and look at this current roster. Now, this roster is nowhere near good, if we're being honest. We have the two superstars in Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. But besides that, it's kind of a weak roster, if we're being honest. You've got your future superstar in Anthony Edwards, who you just drafted in the 2020 draft. And besides that, though, it's kind of weak. Malik Beasley is a more offensive sound player. And that's what I'm trying to change here in Minnesota. What I want to change is I want to build a more defensive, not a whole defensive heavy team, but I would like to be better on defense because Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell are just not very good on defense, and that's what I'm trying to build here in Minnesota. And my plan here is I think it's a plan that can definitely work. So per game stats here, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's been recovering from COVID this year, and he's just not been that great. And I think that's from a variety of reasons. 23.1 points is still great. But yeah, I think it's a variety of reasons that his stats have been a little bit down from previous years this year. And I think that's for the simple reason he just does not want to be in Minnesota, if I'm being honest with you. I think that he does not want to be in Minnesota. Your second leading scorer is Malik Beasley. D'Angelo Russell's been injured for a lot of this season, which is what a lot of people would blame it on this team. And 16.8 points from Edwards, which is a very solid season, if we're being honest, for Anthony Edwards. But here, I don't think that this team is a playoff team with D'Angelo Russell. I don't. So it's time for me to do my GM skills, and let's go ahead and move ahead to the 2021 NBA trade deadline. It's just about a week away. So currently, the Timberwolves have the number one projected pick in the 2021 NBA draft. And yeah, so let's go ahead and look at some trade deadline moves that we're going to do. I have all the trades that I think we're going to do. First trade is I want to dump the Ricky Rubio salary. Yeah, $17.0 million and 2 years left on his contract. I do not want that contract on our team. And instead of that contract, I will take the expiring contract of Kelly Olynyk on the Miami Heat and Avery Bradley, who's a 2-year contract, who's on defense. Exactly what we're looking for here. And I think that Ricky Rubio is a piece that we don't necessarily need that much on our team. And I think that Avery Bradley would be a good option for this team to get back in return. I'm not asking for any picks because I'm just happy that we can get off that Ricky Rubio contract as a GM or as the new GM. Next trade that we're going to do is we're going to trade Malik Beasley to the Celtics for Tristan Thompson and Romeo Langford. Tristan Thompson here, I'm willing to take on this contract for a young, valuable player in Romeo Langford, who is a player that I would look towards the future, and I think he's probably going to be performing mostly in our G League because I'd like to see him be in the NBA and be one of those future players for us. But Malik Beasley, he's a player that doesn't fit on our team. The Celtics have had interest in players like this, so it makes sense for both sides. And Tristan Thompson, will take him on. That's not a big deal for us. Only $9.2 million. That's not heartbreaking for me. So yeah. Next trade we're going to do is a bigger trade. We're going to trade D'Angelo Russell to Chicago and Ed Davis for Lauri Markkanen, Kobe White, 2 firsts, and a second, and Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen, and Otto Porter. So we'll take on the Otto Porter expiry here just because we have to make the salary work. But I think that D'Angelo Russell has to be traded here. I don't think he fits very well on this team. And for what I want to do in this 2021 draft, he simply does not fit very well on this team. I would like these 2 first-round picks back. That'll be in 2025 and 2026 from Chicago, which I'm not sure what their team stance will be in there because D'Angelo Russell and Zach LaVine could leave by that time. And I think that maybe if we're thinking through through the idea here that maybe they could be a lot worse and maybe even a lottery team. The 2025 round one is top 3 protected, but I don't really care there because I simply don't think that the Bulls are going to be in the top 3, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen are valuable young pieces for our future in Minnesota. Next trade is probably the biggest trade out of all these. Yes, we're trading Karl-Anthony Towns to Golden State for Kelly Oubre, Jordan Poole, but the big piece that we get back here is James Wiseman, the number 2 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft. And I really like James Wiseman, the potential of a future with James Wiseman maybe being your main piece here. So we're going to get our 2021 first round pick back, which is a main asset here that we're going to be getting back, a 2023 round 1 pick, which who knows how good is top 3 protected. Who knows how good our Minnesota team will be. But by 2023, I'd be looking to compete in 2023. 2025 round 1 pick, I would hope that our Minnesota team has won a championship and still a very good NBA team by then. And so we'll get 3 first round picks back and a second round pick. So I'm really happy with that return for Karl-Anthony Towns. I just think that he doesn't really want to be in Minnesota, and I think it's very hard to build a team around him that's really going to work because even though Karl-Anthony Towns is a great player, he is just such a minus defensively, and I think that James Wiseman has that defensive potential that we've been looking for in Karl-Anthony Towns for these last few years. So we're going to make that trade. We'll take on the Kelly Oubre expiring. That's just to make the money work. And yeah, the Kelly Oubre expiring, maybe he's a target that we will look to bring back in the offseason. But as of right now, he's not one of my top priorities to bring back in the offseason. So yeah, that is our trade deadline. Now let's go. We have finished. We're not doing any 2K simulation or anything, as you can see. But we finished with the worst record. I think we stay with the worst record if we do end up trading Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Ricky Rubio, and you still have Anthony Edwards there who could win you a few games. But I think that that we will finish first in the lottery and get the first pick. So they get the first pick again in 2021. This was a tough selection here. I love the fit of Evan Mobley and James Wiseman, but frankly, I've already got James Wiseman, who's my future center, and I think that Evan Mobley's more of a center here. And I think that my other options here would be more of like a forward like Jonathan Kuminga or Jalen Green. Even though I really like Jalen Green's potential as a player, I don't think that he fits very well on our team just because we already do have Anthony Edwards at that position. So yeah, and then for the fit of Jonathan Kuminga, as much as I think Jonathan Kuminga is good, I don't really think that he's better than the player that I'm going to be taking here. And I'm going to take Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State to build that backcourt for the future and a backcourt that I really, really like. So some free agent targets for 2021 here. It's going to be Kelly Oubre, who we just got in a trade. I do target to bring him back for a much cheaper price possibly. He could be a backup forward for this team or maybe even a player that we could move at the 2021 trade deadline, but spoiler alert, we do not get him back. Josh Richardson is a player that we are looking more towards getting in another offseason that you'll see in the future. And DeMar DeRozan is a player that I would love to have on this Minnesota Timberwolves team, but frankly, it's not realistic because I don't think DeMar DeRozan is going to want to come to another team that is in the rebuilding phase. Even though I do think that we have a good team for the future, I don't think that DeMar DeRozan is looking forward towards the future at all. So yeah, so our free agent signings, what I wanted to do with this team is I wanted to take some risk. Some players with a low-risk, high-reward move. So we signed Harry Giles, who he kind of was on a prove-it deal with the Trailblazers, but I think this is his best chance here in Minnesota. He's not going to start, unfortunately, but still. You've also got Rashaan Holmes. We signed him as our backup center behind James Wiseman. We signed DJ Wilson, another kind of prove-it deal, along with Jabari Parker. All those players are just players that I would really like to see do kind of sort of like the Pistons here. Even though the Pistons are a bad NBA team right now, I really like the way that they've built their players with Jeremy Grant especially. I think that that's been really good. And that's kind of what I wanted to do here with this offseason. That was our main target this offseason, to get some players on some prove-it deals. And if they're not good, simply we're not going to be paying them a lot of money, and I'm not very concerned at all about them being bad, really. So our 2021-2022 NBA starting lineup, I really like this backcourt of Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards. I really think that backcourt is one of the best in the NBA for the future. I mean, you've got Anthony Edwards there. Neither are known for their defense, but I think that Cade Cunningham has some defensive potential if he wants to play defense. Jared Culver is going to be our starting small forward this year. I really want to see what he can do. Wiggins is going to, or we didn't get Wiggins back in a trade, so I don't even know what I'm doing there. But yeah, Kelly Oubre is a player that is going to be coming off the bench. Or we didn't even re-sign him. That's what I meant. Sorry. But yeah, we're going to be looking at a starting lineup here of Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Jared Culver, Lauri Markkanen, who I think has a ton of potential back on the Timberwolves. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we did have to re-sign him. So that's tough there. But we had to re-sign him here. And we've also got James Wiseman here. I really like this starting lineup. Now, I know that this is not anywhere near a playoff team, but that's not exactly what I'm targeting for in 2021-2022. I'm looking for progression from Jared Culver. That is one main thing that I would like to see here. Lauri Markkanen, I would really like to see a breakout season from him as well. And I would like to see what James Wiseman can do in that starting lineup because he's not been in the starting lineup for the Warriors. And we'll have to see what Cade Cunningham does. I've got high hopes for him, and hopefully he can win Rookie of the Year in Minnesota. Now, for our 2021-2022 NBA season, it wasn't a great season. We finished 7th overall in the draft. That's where I project us with a team like this. That's not what I simulated or anything. That's kind of what I project here. So, yeah, I don't expect us to be a great team. But I think we could come back farther in the lottery if we're being honest. But yeah, so for the 2020 NBA draft, our best players, Jaden Hardy from Coronado High School in Henderson, Nevada. You've got Chet Holmgren from Minnehaha Academy in Minnesota. So maybe we could get him. JK, we're not getting him with the 7th overall pick because he's already long gone by now. You've got Patrick Baldwin from Hamilton, Wisconsin. You've got Kennedy Chandler from Sunrise Christian Academy in Kansas. And you've got A.J. Griffin from Archbishop Stepinac High School in New York. So, yeah, selection so far, you've got Chet Holmgren with the 1st overall pick, Jaden Hardy with the 2nd overall pick. This is just what I would project teams would do. 3rd overall, Patrick Baldwin. 4th overall, Paulo Banchero. 5th overall, Jabari Smith. 6th overall, Kennedy Chandler. Now, with this 7th overall pick, I took into account a lot of players. And I really didn't know who I wanted to select here. I knew that I wanted a forward here, and I went with A.J. Griffin here. I think A.J. Griffin, he's committed to Duke right now. Yeah, I think that he's going to be a good player for us. So this offseason was not filled with a ton of great signings here, but I think that we're getting a lot better here. And we got Cam Johnson. We signed him, which I think is a huge move for our team because Cam Johnson is a player that is good defensively. And like I said, I'm not trying to build the idea back of that we're a terrible defensive team. I want to be a good defensive team. We signed Josh Richardson, and this offseason we had to let Jared Culver go. And frankly, I just wanted a 1st-round pick back for him because I think that he's just not our small forward for the future. We drafted A.J. Griffin with our 7th overall selection, and I just wanted a new small forward, and I think that Cam Johnson, we signed him this offseason, which indicates that we're definitely not going the Jared Culver route. We will be getting in return a 1st-round pick from Indiana, a 2nd-round pick, and Jeremy Lamb. Jeremy Lamb will be immediately waived because I simply do not want to pay him his contract. He's an overpaid player that I would not like to pay. So any other team can pay him or do whatever they want. So yeah, our 2022-2023 NBA season starting lineup looks like Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards at the guard positions, along with at the forward positions, A.J. Griffin, Lauri Markkanen, and James Wiseman. Off the bench, we have Josh Richardson, who I may have not mentioned, but we signed him. Cam Johnson, Kobe White, and Al Horford. Kobe White is a great bench player for this team, or Al Horford. I don't know where I pulled that from. Oh my gosh, that's wrong. But Kobe White is a great 6th man for this team, I think. I think he's going to be our main scorer off the bench, and I really have high hopes for him. Now, this is a young team, but by now I would be expecting Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham to really start turning into superstars along with James Wiseman and Lauri Markkanen. I think he's a bust if he is not good by the 2022 or 2023 NBA season. And A.J. Griffin is just simply a rookie here, and we will be expecting quite a bit from him. So I would expect this Timberwolves team with the team that I built for them. I think that they could definitely compete in title contention possibly. Now, I don't think that we're the greatest defensive team ever, but I still think that we are a better defensive team than we were in the D'Angelo Russell Cat era. And we made a lot of trades, I know, and I know Timberwolves fans at the start weren't very happy with me, just because I did make some trades that they probably don't agree with. But I still think we built a pretty good team here, and we built it without even getting some of the top free agents. We didn't go out and get a Kawhi Leonard or a Kevin Durant or a Jimmy Butler or any player like that. We went out and got our players via the draft, via trade. That's what we did. All of our players came via free agency some came via free agency, but most came through the draft and trades. All our starting lineup did, and that's kind of what I wanted to build here in Minnesota. So, Timberwolves fans, are you happy with this team? I would be if I was you, because I think this is a very good team that can compete for a title. AJ Griffin is a very solid player on defense. If you're kind of wondering about the defense there, I think James Wiseman has potential there at the center position. Power forward Lauri Markkanen, not the greatest ever on defense. Same with Anthony Edwards. So yeah, I think that I built a very good team in Minnesota. Hopefully, you Timberwolves fans think so, because I'm sure some Timberwolves fans will be watching this video. So yeah, that's my plan for the Timberwolves. I think that this team kind of needs to move on from some of these players that they keep on that they just keep on trying to compete with, and that's what I try to do here. We traded Malik Beasley, Ricky Rubio, D'Angelo Russell. We did most of our trade work in the first trade deadline of me even being our fake GM or the fake GM for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because I did enjoy making this video. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Yeah, that's how to fix the Minnesota Timberwolves in my opinion. Thank you for watching, and peace.